Okay, I'll go ahead and call the Budget Committee meeting to order. We have minutes for March 18th.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Is there any questions or concerns? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, Aaron?
There's a fund balance report in your packet as Tommy Jones and I have been laughing about. You can't read it. I will have that reprinted on multiple pages so that you can actually see the numbers.
Thank you.
The finance report's not ready yet. Trustee just got the books closed, so we haven't finished on our side. So there's really no finance report for this evening. Budget amendments, first one is for the Ag Center. They're requesting funds to pay out the annual term of Director Smith. And we need to make a correction to the commission line with trustee Tates. We need more money in that line. Second.
Let me ask, is the C Ag management just need to be subject to Ag
It
management?
doesn't need to be subject to Ag manager. I'm so sorry. Yes, sir. I'm going to ask the budget committee some questions as we go, and I apologize. I'm going to request that the trustee commission of 15,000 be recurring in the upcoming budget. One of the problems that we have in the past is once we create that budget worksheet in March, I don't adjust for stuff that happens in like April, May, and June. So people come forward and they go, "Wait a minute, you approved that for me last year." I go, "Yeah, but after we were already in the budget development process, and I don't want to keep giving you guys moving target numbers to shoot at." Okay.
Nice.
But I do think in some cases, this one in particular, that 15,000 needs to be recurring, because the trustees commissions are not going down unless collections go down.
Okay, there was a motion and a second.
Who seconded?
Did
Tom made first, I believe.
Okay, thanks. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Okay,
Second one from animal control. I don't know, Mr. Gatlin, you want to cover this? You want me to, or? If I do a bad job, he's here to bail me out. Okay? The 16,000 was for a trailer, that will be outfitted, to do pet adoptions. So they'll be able to carry, multiple animals around to different locations to do pet adoptions. The 10,300 is to construct fences to expand the area where dogs can run without leashes. That we're taking out of capital projects, and if anybody has a question about growth on this one coming out of capital projects, we're taking this out of the building permit side. So there's three primary sources of revenue. The main one we usually take money out of is adequate facilities tax. In this case, we're taking it out of the building permit side, and it's not subject to the growth requirement. There's 400 and something thousand in building permits. So there's that part of it. The second part, it needs 3,000 more for gasoline. Again, I would request that be recurring. He's taken a part-time person who was 32 hours a week, who has resigned, I think he said as of this week. And he's asking to make that person a 40-hour-a-week person. He is largely offsetting the cost of part-time money that he has in his budget. And that's the summary of it all. If you have any questions, I'll try to answer them. Mr. Gallin's here.
Motion approved.
Second.
have a motion and a second. Now questions. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Building inspector, requesting to transfer funds and zoning codes for office supplies and certification classes. So he's taking money out of consultants and putting it into office supplies and insert stream.
Have a motion and a second. Any questions, concerns? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
The rural debt service fund, we did this bond issue in either August or October. I'm sorry, I don't remember. But basically, at the time that we did the bond issuance, we didn't record the payment for the principal and interest. So that's what this is. This reflects the payment due on the Gardo Elementary School.
So moved. Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any other questions, comments? All in favor, say aye. Any opposed?
The next one for the sheriff's department, this one really is Homeland Security. We use, a lot of times we do this under WEMA, it says sheriff, but what it is it's a Homeland Security grant for 2023. So it's 166,000.
So moved.
Second.
Yeah, question.
Mhm.
In Lima last night, they approved the same amount.
Yes, and so after they approve it, it should have said WEMA.
Yeah.
Instead of on.
That's, okay,
That's correct.
long,
So this is Wilma.
This was WEMA,
That's my
yes,
question.
yes, no, this was
Yes.
WEMA. This was WEMA.
We'll fix it.
Yeah, and I'll get you the correct.
So is that it, man?
It is, that is right.
Thank you.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
His feedback, was not community.
Last month when we did the patrol cars, we set up an interfund loan. When I talked to Jeff Bailey, who's the audit manager of the county, and I was asking him exactly what budget amendments needed to be done, and he took a day and thought about it and called me back and told me, don't execute the note, do a transfer from 151 to 101 out of the interest. Now I know this says fund balance, but in essence, it's coming out of the interest. So this is the debt service side reimbursing Fund 101 for the purchase of the vehicles, basically.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
WEMA has some grant funds coming. We know that they'll be coming in the next few months, and we know that they have to be spent by June 30. So they are going ahead and reporting that grant for the purchase of 7 CPR devices. They will not spend that money, of course, until the grant proceeds are actually received. Unless it's a reimbursement-based grant, so I should qualify that, in which case we'll have to spend it first to get reimbursed.
Motion to approve.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any comments? All in favor, say aye. Any opposed?
The next one is correcting some of WEMA's pay lines. We were under in some, over in some. The net effect on fund balance is $8,293. And this is just a result of, again, we talked several times about building that employee roster and getting all the pay grades and everything out just right. So that's what this is. It's just a correction.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
And last, WEMA is requesting to move money for what they sold an ambulance into their health equipment line.
Motion approved.
Second.
I'm gonna have a motion and a second to approve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Yeah, where was that one? Because I did it.
Check.
The one for the fire trucks, the 3.
$3,750,000.
Yeah, because I did it and it didn't make it in the packet. Okay, well, let's just talk about it then. And I'll get, because I've got it. It didn't make it in the packet. $3,750,000 for 5 fire trucks. Again, done the exact same way as the patrol cars from the excess interest in the general debt service.
They tricked him.
Well, we'll see how long it lasts.
So we're not taking action on that tonight?
Well, I'm asking you to. I don't have a copy of a budget amendment for you because it didn't make it in the packet unless you want to
You
wait for me
expect
to
us
go
to
print it.
trust you?
Yeah, it'll be 6 times we say it in a week.
Yeah,
won't it?
On your desk.
Yeah, we passed it last.
I gave it to LeBron, but I can print it. I can go to my computer and print it.
What is it?
Okay, I can make you copies.
3 million what? Just tell me.
3,750,000. 750,000 apiece.
Just make sure Mike gets it right.
I've already got the
Oh, okay.
resolution in. We did last night.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just need the budget. Trying to get ahead. of
They
it.
were gonna clip it out of the
He
300,000. But
Mike
they
needs
already had it.
Okay.
So they're handling the equipping of it out of their own
Do you
funds.
go running this?
Okay, y'all have heard the explanation. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay,
You can have
education.
First was memo 2024-09. And it is, that's just listing our beginning fund balances as of July 1st, 2023, as requested by the Culver's office. Because we did not list it in our budget. Because we did not use it to fund. Our budget was balanced. We didn't use fund balance, but they asked us to use this in our budget.
Motion approved.
big.
Second. Have a motion and a second. Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Second, budget amendment 2024-09. We received additional money from public school security grants, so it's just showing revenue and the expenditure line item. Second, we're reallocating money in our sped budget to pay for personnel services for sped students outside the school day. And then the last one, our child nutrition, we looked at their expenditures and just reallocating some to make sure that they.
You need a motion to accept this and then.
Yes.
Well, Lisa, I'm a little bit confused. That shouldn't surprise anybody. The one for the fund
Fund
balance
balance?
is 2024-09, and the budget amendment also the same thing.
Yeah, they were different number in the memos, because we had it separate, so I couldn't get off.
Just, how should I number the resolution? Leave the budget amendments 2024
Yes.
and do the other ones 2024,
Leave the budget amendment as 2024-09, yes.
and then the other 2024 10. I mean,
Yes.
you
That
tell
was
me.
fine. That-
Yeah, you need to recommend that to the county commission.
Motion, but does it go to county commission, or we just have to approve it?
No, she's talking about her budget
Okay.
now.
Exactly.
Okay, was there a motion?
Yes, and
And a second.
Down the road.
Second.
Any other questions concerning this budget amendment? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, is there any other business that needs to come up for the budget committee at this time?
One brief.
Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Yeah,
Oh, I was just going to ask, I may not have heard it. You say that they were being, tools are equipped with the money that's already there.
Yes.
That we're using. Okay.
Yes.
Sorry about that.
One of the discussion items, not a finding, one of the discussion items brought up by the auditors, and I apologize, I didn't get copies of this in everybody's packet, but it references a TCA code that I'll give to Mike, but it's, TCA code related to commissioner compensation increases are not to take effect until the beginning of the term following the next election of commissioners. Attorney General's opinions 20-17 and 1535 have held that if an ordinance or resolution permits an act which violates the statute, then the ordinance or resolution is invalid. What they're saying is that the resolution that you guys passed back in 2016, which tied county commissioners to the elected official schedule, can't take effect until the next, in other words, it will accumulate until the next election and the next commission takes their seat, at which time the raises would take effect. I'm asking Mike, and we're asking you to ask Mike, to get an attorney general's opinion that says that our 2016 resolution is grandfathered. That's what I'm hoping for. Because otherwise, when we do the budget this year, I will not be able to figure in the elected officials increase for the county commissioners.
Make a motion to do that. Second.
motion and a second. Is there any other discussion necessary? All in favor, say aye. Any opposed?
Y'all understand this, but y'all are kind of my mercy right now. If I get that.
Yeah.
You may be out tonight if you want to.
How much we got?
You'll have to have it on record.
Yeah, that'd be fine. Pay me out, tonight be a good night to offer. I might take it.
Okay, any other new business that needs to come up?
Mr. Chairman, I didn't hear a budget amendment from jail for jail medical.
I did not have that either. Do you have a copy of it? I don't know how that went.
I emailed it, but you may have got it late.
Did you email it to LeBron as well as me or just to me?
Both.
I thought so.
There you go.
Here. Thank you. Inmate medical.
There's some additional dollars.
There you go.
I think most everybody was there for the law enforcement committee meetings. This is basically just intended, I think, to get within the next 30 days. They're still working in the negotiations with the hospital.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve. Is there any questions or comments, concerns need to be voiced? All in favor say aye. Any opposed?
So, sorry. The other was the needs. There was that motion to leave that amount of the status quo, but I guess that'll be discussed.
That's still gonna
I
go
do
through
have
the
a
process.
question.
I just didn't want you missing.
No, sir. We're gonna have to discuss Aaron's job here.
Yeah, no doubt.
I got a question for Lance.
Yes, sir.
Would you have a recommendation of how to address this in the coming years? The numbers you put out a while ago are astronomical in the
Yes, sir.
increases.
I'll give a quick brief synopsis of sort of, if you heard my numbers over the years.
Mhm.
So, and I'm not pointing fingers at any particular Vanderbilt. We were told when January 1 of 23 that our rate was gonna go to 60%. That time we had been paying and didn't have a contract with them. It's been a verbal agreement for as long as I've been for Wilson County. We paid 25%. So we were paying 25. It went to 60, but we were told that the new 60% rate would be based on a plan, a pricing plan that was unique to the medical field, and that we should see a reduction. Well, that did not happen. Also at that time, prior to Vanderbilt taking over, there was the Sheriff's Department negotiated rates with all the different ancillary providers. The hematology side, the radiology side, all of those different providers, we had different negotiated rates with. So as soon as we got a bill, we knew what to discount, and we paid them. When Vanderbilt took over, everything was encompassed under one at a 60% rate. So that, some of those more than double, those ancillary charges. So, just give you for instance, there was an emergency physicians group down there that sent us a bill. We only paid 50% of that bill, so now we're paying 60%. On the radiology side, sometimes 30-40% this is all we pay. Now we're paying 60%. We were paying 25% on the medical emergency room in any hospital bills. Now we're paying 60%. So you can see how that astronomical
I
number.
understand that part of it, but, and I understand you're at the meeting, you have set up, may remedy that portion of this.
I don't think it's going to.
Well, that's my question is, do you have a recommendation of what we could possibly do to, I hate to be the one to say it, but do we need to look at transporting prisoners somewhere else?
Yes, and that's going to be our next
I
step.
mean, I
We're gonna
hate to
have
say that, but
Yes, sir. That, I gave you that history and those numbers so you could, not saying to read between the lines, but I think you see where I was going with that. And that's going to be the urgency of the plan over the next couple of weeks, is to try to have another plane.
Well, the increases in the years that you gave a while ago, I couldn't hear well enough to write them down, but
I'll be glad.
it's gonna hurt the county in a large way in the coming years if they continue like that.
Yes, sir.
So we'll say that the Sheriff Lance came and met with me, and then we reached out to Scott McCarver. And we knew that when they came in, and somehow they're a nonprofit, so Tenova, UMC, they'd always pay property tax. But since Vanderbilt had been here, they don't pay property tax. So we added up all of that information and we sent that to him and asked him to go to Nashville to talk about cutting that back to 25%, as a way for them to give back and even own the property tax that they don't have to pay right now. The head people are the people I think that came in and said, hey, look, we got to find a way to make Vanderbilt break even. And that's why we went from 25 to 60% back in the day, which is a different organ, it was a different group. Because you had a call her the other day, and you had a call to Scott McCarthy today. The billing people called and you said, hey, look, we're having negotiations and we're talking to Scott McCarthy, and they said, who is that?
Yeah, didn't have a clue.
So we're trying to get, and Scott is gonna go on the behalf of us to say, look, we'd like to keep that business, because he knows, and we addressed that the other day. that,
So
you
you
know,
have hope that this may can be adjusted.
But he didn't have a lot of hope.
I'm asking you now.
I think at the end of the day, I think Vanderbilt Wilson wants to keep our business. And to keep our business, which all the people that we transport here in the whole county, you know, they want that business too. They could easily go to Summit ER on the interstate, or it could go Summit down there. So I think for the amount of money we're talking about, for them to give 25 to 60%, it's a small price to pay to keep all the business. If not, then your questions, you came up, well, okay, what can we do to help ourselves? That hurts them in that regard. And so I think as a business person, it would make sense, but I don't work for Vanderbilt.
Mayor, you may or may not be able to answer this, but I think under that taxing statute, that is not a guarantee. That's a request. I have to make that request for a charitable organization. They're outside of what a school's allowed to do, or even the church is not guaranteed to have a tax deduction. So, and I'm almost positive that's the statute on that.
So somebody, yeah, I don't know how nonprofits don't pay taxes. I don't. They go to Board of Equalization.
No, it's a tax assessor. And I think that's a comptroller's opinion. And we just had this discussion over a piece of property that we owned that we're renting. But the money was going back into our general fund for the school district. And so we got into this whole conversation about charitable organizations, churches. And I think that is a request. You have to make that request too. And I think a tax assessor has some discretion on that. And the comptroller gives some direction. So I'm not so sure that's just across the board. Plus, I think it's of use and how that's being used. And so even if a primary facility or a secondary facility is being used, I think if you look at some places that are being rented by other organizations, where's that money going?
So some of their buildings are listed as commercial and not paying property tax, not all of them. But I would check in on that because I didn't know that the
And people may know more than that. I mean, you may know.
that the property assessor was the one that gave them that right. They didn't come before us.
I was asked last night to look into this, and I want to talk to the guy who used to work for the comptroller's office that did this on that side. Now he's out helping counties like ours to try to recover more taxes. And I'm gonna ask him, but I think that started in Nashville, but I do think ultimately it winds up in the local assessor's office. Yeah, but it'll take a little research. Do what?
You're working on it, I ain't gonna work on that.
Yeah. Send it on. Yeah, I was asked last night, seriously, that's on everybody's mind, and frankly, I can kind of understand that. What we have to pay for them,
I
pay my tax.
I just thought that was a good bargaining opportunity. And it's,
And I'm just curious what an assessment on $40 million is. You know, I think that's peanuts. I mean, I think what we're asking for is peanuts.
Right.
To an assessment of $40 million.
In worlds.
And quite frankly, I'd rather charge us 60% and we get an assessment, property tax on $40 million. I think we're gonna come out benefiting off that.
This may be a good discussion for the May 20th meeting. We'll have time to look at it. And then it may be a
Lance, does that include the state? I know the state that pays us to house, so many state prisoners. Does their price include their medical, or we pay that instead of the whole? They just pay one set fee, or well, is there opportunity maybe to ask for more money from the state for the medicine?
So if it is a state inmate, and they go to the emergency room and don't spend at least 24 hours in the facility, then we cannot cover that money, and we can't bill the state. If they're in more than 24, then we can bill the entire amount. But the state has very specific regulations on how that has to transpire, so it almost takes a CPA to figure out the process.
Usually falls on the,
But we have accomplished that in the past, but we don't have very many of them.
Lance, thank you. I didn't really put you on the spot.
No, sir.
But your opinion and value didn't.
I appreciate that, and it, you know, I hope they'll come to some discussion, but if not, we're gonna have to look at other outside assessments.
Okay, any other business need to come up before the budget committee?
Motion adjourned.
It's the Mr. Johnny.
Thank y'all. Y'all be careful going home.